In this episode of SolidWorks for Creo Parametric users, we will start looking at the Loft feature. And in general, when people are learning a second CAD platform, I recommend that they avoid doing the analogy thing. So for example, you can say that, hey, an extrude in Creo Parametric is a lot like an extrude in SolidWorks, and a revolve in Creo Parametric is a lot like a revolve in SolidWorks, and a sweep in Creo Parametric is a lot like a sweep in SolidWorks. So naturally you would think that a blend in Creo Parametric is similar to a loft in SolidWorks, but it isn't. It's best to just think of a loft as sort of its own thing. It's got some characteristics with a blend in Creo. It's got some characteristics with a swept blend in Creo. It's got maybe a little bit of overlap with a rotational blend in Creo, but also it's just got a bunch of different stuff. So it is best to approach it as its own thing. So anyhow, when you want to create a loft, just like with other features in SolidWorks, be aware that there are separate commands, whether you want to remove material, or if you want to create a non-solid surface feature, or if you want to add material to your model, which is what I want to do here. So I will click on the lofted boss base command. And actually, before I do that, let's take a look at the tooltip. This is going to add material, because it's a boss or base, between two or more profiles. And be aware that the profiles do not have to be parallel like I have in this situation. But let's take a look at using parallel profiles. I will click on the command. It opens up the property manager on the left-hand side of the screen. And the first field that is active is for selecting the different profiles that we want to use. And for your profiles, you can select sketches, but you can also select faces of a model. So I will click on this face, and you can see the indication of profile on here. You also notice that there is a little bit of an attachment here where that note is. And so for my second profile, I'm going to click a sketch, but I'm deliberately clicking over here on this side in order to show you something. I'll click over here, and you'll notice that the note for this section is attached kind of close to where I picked on it. And we're not getting a preview because right now, what are sort of like the start points in Creo Parametric are very much out of line with one another. If we want these different connectors to line up, we can drag them and try to get them where we want it to be. Oops, let me grab it. It's not liking this. Let me just delete that one. I'm just going to pick right over here to make it easy on myself. There you see. Then you can see how we are getting the preview. It is liking it in this situation. And we can see that those green circles, those connectors, are lining up with one another. And so I selected two different sections with the same general shape and the same number of vertices. But now for my next section, I'm going to select a circle. And another difference between Creo Parametric and SolidWorks: in Creo, a circle is represented by two half circles, but here we just have a single circle. We don't actually have any vertices, but if I click on the circle, it automatically connects it up properly. I didn't have to divide it into a certain number of entities. And so you can see a preview of the feature that we are getting. And so I'm going to complete this feature for now. And I'm going to say, hey, this is good, but there is another sketch that I want to throw in here. Let me select this sketch, and I will use the show icon. And so it is a hexagon, and it's sort of sitting in between the first face that I selected and the second profile that I selected. Let me go to the Loft feature, and then I will use the edit feature command. And I want to add in another profile, this other one. And so I'm going to pick on the profile. And so here we get it. In this case, it automatically figured out where it should be, and it located it between the two different sections as we want. If you need to, you can reorder your different faces. So for example, if I select it and move it down, well, it obviously doesn't like that. Let me move it back up in the list. And so you are able to add sections or delete the different sections as needed. And let's say I want to remove the section. Well, I can right mouse click on it and choose delete, and then it ends up removing it out of there. But again, I can click on it in order to add it. And in this situation, I clicked on it in a way that it didn't connect it properly. Let me just drag that over a little bit. Let me see if I can just drag that one over. And now I have the preview showing up. Beware that you can right click on top of the different connectors, and there are a bunch of commands for manipulating the connectors, like you can delete connectors, you can hide connectors, show all, hide all, reset back to their initial locations, or undo a connector edit. But anyhow, that is good for the first example. Let me hit the check mark in order to complete the feature, and you can see how it is interpolating from one section to the next. Maybe I want to go back and do maybe a little bit of tweaking of the connectors on the last section. But anyhow, let's take a look at another example. And here I have a part model, and it's got a few different sketches. I have a sketch of essentially what would be like a trajectory in a swept blend in Creo Parametric. I have two other different sketch profiles, and let's start off by creating another loft in here. So let me go to Lofted Boss Base, and then with my profiles field activated, I will select this profile. And so I've got that one, and then I'm going to select another one, and I'll pick on, let me pick over here where it would obviously not line up, and say, oh, yep, did the wrong location. And let's see. Oh, there we're getting a preview, but there we go. Now we're getting it lined up, and it's just going from one location to the other one. You'll notice, unlike a rotational blend in Creo Parametric, these different sections are not rotated about an axis. And it's not exactly the shape that I want. I want it to follow this curve. So I'm going to add that curve as what's called a centerline. And so I'll go to centerline parameters, and this would sort of be like the trajectory in a swept blend. I might have mentioned that already. But anyhow, let me select it. And now you can see that we are having our loft go from the first section to the second section using the curve that I selected as a center line to follow. And there is a slider over here for controlling the number of intermediate sections, but I am happy with what I have. So let's hit the check mark in order to complete that. And for the last example for this video, we're going to take a look at controlling the start and end conditions. And so here I have a part model, and it's got a couple of non-solid surface features. And I want to create a loft as a surface. I will click on the Surfaces tab, and then let's click on the Lofted Surface command. And in this situation, instead of selecting different profiles, I'm going to select different edges of my surfaces. And so there you can see edge 1 listed. Let me select the other edge that I want. And there we are getting our loft created, and it's just connecting the different endpoints and creating the surface in between. But if we take a look in our property manager, we have the ability to control start and end constraints. And when I expand that field, we see that we have none listed for both the start and for the end. If I click on the drop-down list for the start, our other choices include using a direction vector, normal to the profile, tangent to the profile, or tangent to the face, or curvature, matching the curvature continuity of the face. Let's choose tangent to face. And so there you can see how we are getting it coming off tangent to that initial surface. But it is not tangent over on the other end. If I go to the drop down for the end constraint, we can specify tangent there as well. And so you can see the shape that is interpolated, but you do have the ability to control the strength of the tangency. And so if I take a look here, I've got an up and down arrow where I can decrease. You can see how as I'm decreasing, it's not extending the tangency, or as I increase, it is going up. And right now it's going up by 0.1. Here it's a value of 2, and then there's a value of 3, and then a value of 4. But let's drop this down. Let's use a value of 1.2. And then over on the other end, it's currently using a value of 1. And again, similarly, we can drop it down, and you can see how the surface is changing. And again, I will increase it up a little bit, and we'll use a value of 1.6. That's good. And so now I will hit the check mark, and we have our loft being created between the different edges of the surfaces of the part model. So there you have it. That is a basic introduction to some of the functionality of the loft feature in SolidWorks.